Good day, internet people. It is Lena here, and it's at last time to show you all the beautiful Oracle deck of beautifulness. Let us get right into it. We start with the only starter, Lozenge Makers, or the only starter worth caring about, and it doesn't matter whichever one you pick. It's the same thing anyway. When you ride upon it, draw a card, because standard. And the triggers again, pretty much as you'd expect. You get 4 Psychic Birds, 4 Nikkei, 4 Mist to perf with, because, well, unless you're playing against Waterfall. And 4 Sphere Makers, because you need to heal. You could run more draws, and less crits, but the deck draws well enough. I don't think you really need to, and part of the reason for that is the first grade one, 4 Circle Magus. So when you ride upon her, you can counterblast 1 and draw a card. Her main ability, besides that, also works on the Vanguard and Rearguard, and I keep forgetting it works on the Vanguard circle. When you drive check a grade 2 or greater card, you may put that on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, you draw a card. It's better filtering, especially if your hand isn't that good in the early game. Next, grade 1. Fafale Magus. When placed, look at the top card of your deck and put it on top of the bottom of your deck. That's Rearguard only. Again, filtering, we do it a lot in this deck, and it's super useful. This next grade 1, I choose this one. I go with Miznahame. You can use Oracle Guardian Gemini if you feel that you counterblast too much. So it's that or this. I've gone with this one for my build. When it boosts the Vanguard, if you have 3 or more cards in your damage only gets plus 6k until the end of that battle. Yes, it is only for boosting the Vanguard, but it does make those Vanguard hits a bit more scary, especially with certain cards we'll be talking about later. And the last grade 1 of the lineup is 2 Luckbird, because I want to draw more cards. It's almost the same as the original Luckbird, except for when you Soul Blast 2 and draw a card, you get plus 6k until the end of that turn, which is very nice. Moving on to the grade 2s. Main grade 2 is, here's Promised Daughter. Vanguard or Rearguard. When it attacks the Vanguard, if you have 4 or more cards in hand, it gets plus 6, so it swings to 15k on its own. Very nice. And it can't be retired due to your opponent's card effect. So take that, Kagero players. Maha. Also Blaster Blade. And back to looking at the top card of the deck a lot. Here's for Yellow Witch Meme, who does the same thing as Fafale Magus. Again, we need to look at the top card of our deck. We always need to know what's going on. And the last grade 2 is 2 Satori Hime. Even if I've got Amaterasu on the top of on the Vanguard circle, I like to actually attack with her last, so I know what the top card of my deck is going into my opponent's turn. So that if I know I've got a trigger upcoming, haha. But when it attacks the Vanguard, counterblast 1, draw a card, discard a card from your hand. It gets plus 6k until the end of turn, and if your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, then you can look at the top card of your deck and put it on top or bottom of your deck. Ah, yes, you can hit me all you like. I've got a heal trigger. Mahaha. And finally, grade 3s. I'm actually going to start with the Deer. We run the Deer at 2. I feel that 2 is enough. Vanguard or Rearguard, once per turn, Soul Blast 2 grade 3s and discard a card from your hand. Look at 7 cards from the top of your deck, reveal up to 2 critical triggers from among them, put the revealed cards on the top of your deck in any order, shuffle the rest of the cards looked at, and put them on the bottom of your deck, and shuffle them, put them on the bottom of your deck, and 6 of your units get plus 10k until the end of turn. So it's essentially kind of a win condition. The ideal play is to get the Deer on the Rearguard and use the ability there. So, but if you have to ride it in order to push the game, it's no harm in that either. But ideally, Rearguard. Next, I've mentioned her already. Here she is. It's for CEO Amaterasu. I'm so glad to have her back. I'll be even happier when I've got 4 Origin Rares, but that's enough of that for the moment. Her ability on the Vanguard circle, once per turn, counterblast 1, draw a card, look at the top card of your deck and put it on the top or bottom of your deck. And the main reason that we like to look at the top card of our deck so much is because when you look at your deck due to effects during your turn, this unit gets plus 5k until the end of turn, and that also works on the Rearguard, so she makes a fantastic Rearguard swinger as well as a Vanguard. So, love it. And finally, we have for Utterly Gorgeous Imperial Daughter. We love this card. I'm almost kind of sad that her ability is on place, but never mind. Tis all good. When placed on the Vanguard circle, counter +1, look at 2 cards from the top of your deck. Put 1 card from among them into your hand, put 1 card from among them into your soul or the top of your deck, and if you ride it upon a grade 3, she gets plus 15k in a crit until the end of turn, which is really nice. And her second skill, which is another one I keep forgetting, Soul Blast 1, once per turn, and one of your units gets plus 6k until the end of that turn. So you can give it to herself, because it doesn't specify other units, so you can give her more power to swing with. That'd be quite nice actually, because that means that if you give it to herself and she's not boosted, that's 33, which is really good against all the 13k Vanguards. So it's quite nice. And of course, with her, if you've got, if I just quickly grab this, so you can, if you have a Vanguard and Rearguard enemy, when you begin your turn, that gets you the 15k in a crit, and also her skill from looking at the top of the deck gives her plus 5. If you're really lucky, the top 2 cards of your deck will provide you with a grade 3, which can then go into the soul, and you can call Deer to the other side. Use that skill, because you're looking at the top card of the deck, that gives her plus 5, and then she's going to get another plus 10. That's 20k before I've even mentioned any grade 1s. And of course you can always do things like call for Foul Omegas and all that other stuff to give her more power. So you can throw around a lot of numbers, which is really good. And of course, with all these grade 3s, gifts, free perps, which is amazing. Unless you're playing against Waterfall. Yeah, Waterfall is currently the only downside of the deck at this time, but it would not be fair if we had it all our own way. So that's how it is. Oh, I've knocked the count. Yeah, that's a hint. If you're playing Kagero, for God's sake, get Waterfall. It's your best way to beat Oracles. For everyone else,
everything else is Mastercard.
I'm not going to give you ways to beat my deck other than the one way I know that definitely works. But yeah, that's my deck. I really love it. Do feel free to let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. I'll always be open to suggestions. Thank you for watching. See you next video. Goodbye, internet people.